To Stefan Edberg, who triumphed on court 1 as a junior, then made his residence in London and then on to center court, twice winning the championship. On the eve of his final Wimbledon, Edberg is no longer favored to win, but he is still a favorite.
This playing means a lot to me, growing up, watching it on television, and becoming here first time. I think this is the tournament to win for most of the tennis players, so it will be special.
Edberg met Boris Becker in 3 straight finals from 1988 to 1990. Playing the dominant grass court player of his generation, Edberg won 2 of those 3 championships. Once the world's #1 player, Edberg's ranking has dropped into the 20s, but just last week he reached the final at the prestigious Queen's Club tournament, where he lost, yes, to old nemesis Becker. Edberg at 30 is a realist regarding a dramatic 3rd Wimbledon title in his swan song appearance.
Well, I think realistically a quarterfinal is definitely within reach. I think then on it's going to be more difficult, but you know, once you get into the 2nd week, you know, a lot of things can happen.
And get our first look of the day at Stefan Edberg. Barry?
All right, Jim. Stefan Edberg, the number 12 seed, serving with a break over here on court number 1. 2 Swedes hard at it. Edberg down the middle, just wide. 40-15. Stefan trying to hold to go to 3-1 here in the first set. Tillstrom. And Martina, this youngster, 24 years old, never played at Wimbledon, but he can play.
It's a good, all those Swedes, they're better baseliners, but they're really good all-around players. Tillstrom has a good record in the 5-set matches.
Squeeze
4-1.
Yeah. Beat Mark Gollner in the first round, 12-10 in the 5th. Edberg with that classic backhand volley, and so Stefan Edberg holds serve over here on court 1.
Edberg leads 3 games to 1.
Tillstrom will serve in the 5th game of the first set. Mikael Tillstrom from Gothenburg, Sweden. Suddenly the Swedes coming back. Martina, used to be a lot of tournaments. You'd have 6 out of 8 players were all Swedes. Nyström. A lot of guys. That was in the days of Wilander, Edberg.
Jared.
Exactly.
Love to see.
Sundström. These names are coming into my head. Of course, that was in the 80s, early to middle 80s. And Edberg still a warrior. This in his last year.
Stefan Edberg got a tremendous hand when he came out here onto court number 1, playing in his final Wimbledon. Appeared on the scene over here as a junior, 1983, won the junior Wimbledon that year. I remember a lot of people rushing up and saying, Jesus, a kid out there looks like a Southern Californian, but he's from Sweden.
He actually won the Grand Slam of juniors. He won all the 4 Grand Slam junior events.
Yeah.
Dominated the scene and lived up to the expectations.
No. Tillstrom trying to serve and volley. Looked a little uncomfortable coming in behind that serve, Martina.
Well, I think he'd rather stay back, but he knows that serve and volleying is the right play. And also, if he stays back, Stefan's going to come in. And again, you'd rather be at the net, even if you're not that good there, than trying to pass Edberg.
Yes.
Clever. Chess master by Edberg. It was a good stretch by Tillstrom. Edberg's so fast. He's such a good athlete. Got himself in shape this spring. He's playing some great tennis.
Stefan saying that he's about a half a step slower. It didn't look like it right there. Yes. And so Stefan Edberg with his 2nd service breakout here on court number 1.
4 games to 1.
He now leads 4-1. Look at some other Swedes, Martina.
He's played lots of his friends here at Wimbledon. Sundström, 83, lost another one to Eriksson, Oh, I beg your pardon. Defeated Eriksson in the first round. Defeated Jari in 87 in the quarterfinal. 90, Bergström. 92, Holm.
Heinrich Holm. That guy was a very dangerous player. But the Swedes have put a dent in Wimbledon as we look down at this beautiful complex. The new #1 court. Martine up there at the top of your picture coming together. That's going to be a great venue next year.
That's looking really good. I think there's going to be some great facilities for the players and the media and the spectators.
A couple of new tennis courts there being put together. I love the way the first thing they do when they do a new tennis court here at Wimbledon, plant the grass. Forget everything else.
Grass. And they were showing that the other day, how they were putting down the grass on court 1, on the new court 1. And the next day I had a dream that I played mixed doubles there. And they unrolled it back up. So we were playing on dirt and gravel and stones. And I thought, this isn't supposed to be like this. I said, oh, we forgot to put the grass back down. Just play on. Play should be continuous.
That's great.
It was a nightmare.
All right, 4-1 now. Edberg serving with 2 breaks in the first set.
Ball.
Martina Stefan's always had that interesting grip on the service approach and the way he holds the racket. Don't you think that's a very unusual look?
He looks awkward at the beginning of the serve, but at impact he's perfect.
Exactly.
But he sort of takes the racket out, holds it like a cooking utensil.
It's almost like the reverse of Sampras, who kind of does a little thing with his racket before he starts.
He does a little hitch with it beforehand, but Stefan opens it like he's ready to flip a pancake.
Solid return from Tillstrom.
Just phenomenal. That is a great get. Tillstrom hits as good a return as he can off the serve. Edberg really split-stepping a little late. He jumps up, see his right foot went under him, but he still was able to reach it. Great stretch. I mean, he was horizontal on that shot. And then he lands back on his leg, perfectly in balance. Look at that, low, ready for the next shot.
That is perfect form.
Turn on your VCRs if you want to learn how to volley. Put on a VCRs and play this man's volleys over and over. Watch his footwork, his balance, and racket work.
Wow.
Nobody could have gotten that one.
Tillstrom cranking up the return now.
30 all.
That was a good deep serve, but Tillstrom was all over that ball.
Mikael Tillstrom, 24 years old, out of Gothenburg, Sweden, trying to get into this match. But so far, it has been all Stefan Edberg. Stefan over hits that forehand volley. Martina, you were a great servant volleyer. Did you ever watch Stefan play a match or try and study what he did on the volley, especially that backhand volley?
Absolutely. I watched his footwork and racket preparation, particularly the backhand volley. Of course, my backhand volley was pretty decent. I needed help more in my forehand volley. But Stefan's really solid. I mean, his backhand volley is better. That doesn't mean his forehand volley is a weakness. If he misses any, it would be that high one. Kind of gets the elbow out away from the body.
Game Tillstrom.
Tillstrom with the service break. Catches the top of the net.
Edberg leads 4 games to 2. Ladies and gentlemen,
one service.
My request of earlier. Please do not use flashlight photography. It's really most disturbing to both players. Thanks.
As the umpire appealing to this crowd not to use flash photography, and suddenly It has become very dark here at Wimbledon, threatening skies, and I'm sure the flashes are much more visible in this type of light than they would have been yesterday in that bright sunlight.
Absolutely. It's really distracting when it's so dark.
Drop shot.
Very brave shot by Tillstrom, actually inviting Stefan Edberg to come to the net, but he hit the drop shot so well that Stefan couldn't do anything with it. I think they should hand out pieces of duct tape or something to the audience to put over the flashes.
The flash.
Because you can't turn them off on some of these cameras.
No,
Ooh.
just carries wide.
Just out. Because the flash is not going to help the people anyway from that far away, and it's only a distraction. And especially here when it comes out of the stands on the south and east side, it's underneath.
30-15.
Tillstrom unloading down the center, 30-15. And suddenly those two big breaks, which loomed large a few minutes ago, now Tillstrom getting right back into this set. No.
30.
Miss hit on the second serve.
No, that one got away. Didn't quite get the racket head through. It was a little late. That's what we call the waiter serve. Waiter, can I please have a Coke?
Left first.
Tillstrom with two double faults already and now under pressure here. Second serve, 30 all. Ooh, and a miss hit. You rarely see Edberg miss that badly on the return, but he took a pretty big swing.
Well, Tillstrom's been kicking his serve, and that time he sliced it right into Edberg's body, and it looked like Stefan wasn't reading the spin, stepped into the ball, and of course the ball ran right into him.
Deuce.
And right there, Martina, to me it looks like Tillstrom not real comfortable on that first volley.
Well, he's not used to it. He's trying to do the right thing. He's just not as good at it as Edberg, needless to say.
Yes.
Pretty solid there.
Advantage Tillstrom.
Mikael Tillstrom playing in his very first Wimbledon. He is yet to compete here or at the U.S. Open. And the ball just caught the top of the net.
Giving Edberg a little bit more time, made really good adjustment. When he hits shots like that, you wish he'd get playing.
Yeah.
He's only 30.
Advantage Tillstrom.
Martina, you're on the full run. The ball just catches the net, slows down slightly. It's a great advantage for the person getting ready to hit it.
Well, it depends how much slowing, how fast you're running, if you can slow down enough. Generally speaking, a let court makes it more difficult unless it really sits up.
Oh.
No, that one didn't get hit.
And so Tillstrom gets a break. That ball just catches the top of the net. And so Mikael Tillstrom, 24 years old, from Gothenburg, hangs in out here on court number 1. Edberg with a 4-3 lead. Another look at Mikael Tillstrom. Not a bad effort back there in Monte Carlo in '92. He kind of burst on the scene that year. He likes clay, no question about that. '94 there at the French.
There's some better results on hard courts this year at Australian Open, Jakarta, Copenhagen.
Mrs. Stefan Edberg, as they would call her here in Great Britain. A lovely lady who has followed his exploits around the world for, I would say, at least 4 or 5 years.
Oh, she's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do that. You know, I've had girlfriends traveling with me. I don't know how they do that. It's so hard. You're totally at the mercy of the player and their schedule, and you're sort of a gopher and a groupie almost.
Yeah. Plus, every match is a nail biter. Or not every match, but they can be if they're close and tight. It takes a lot of energy. We are live on court number 1. Day number 4 here at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. Mostly tennis so far these 4 days. I saw a couple of croquet players way out past court 13.
I thought they were going to take the croquet out of the name.
Well, I hope not, because they've got a beautiful croquet ground out there that is very well manicured. I like to just watch it with nobody out there. Very peaceful. Stefan Edberg serving now with a break, up 4-3. First set, court number 1. Wow, very deep serve.
See, that ball bounced on the service line.
Yeah.
Caught the chalk, bounced up, and Tillstrom was very early, even though he tried to slow the racket down, which is why he mishit it. Couldn't slow it down enough.
Tillstrom.
Great hands by Stefan Edberg. Tillstrom hits that forehand as hard as he could, but Edberg just got the racket there. Of course, the danger when you hit the ball so hard, it's going to come back very hard, very fast, and that's exactly what happened. Tillstrom hit such a great shot, but had no chance to get a decent shot on the return.
Brilliant low volley from Stefan Edberg. Takes him to 30 love. Again, Tillstrom hauling off on that forehand return.
Tillstrom's finding the range on Stefan's second serve. He's trying to hurt him on the second serve. I think Stefan needs to take a little bit pace off the first serve. Make sure that he has a high enough percentage of the first serves in. It's really good winners. They're even right now. Edberg still has a break at hand. Very high quality match here. Only 7 games played, and we have 28 winners.
Again, Tillstrom climbing all over that forehand return. And suddenly, from 30 love up and from 2 breaks up in this set, now Edberg finds himself just a bit of trouble.
And a bit of a pickle. Now you hate for those leads to slip away.
4-3, 30 all.
40-30.
Same return, about 20 feet over the baseline, and so Edberg now game point.
Game Edberg.
Vintage Stefan Edberg.
Edberg leads 5 games to 3.
So Edberg now at 5-3, 1 game away from the first set. Martina, as a serve and volleyer, when did you kind of decide in the set, at what stage, when you found a little bit of a groove against the person you're playing against, to say, okay, that's working for me, I'm serving out wide, or
yes,
did that happen at any point in the set fairly early?
Sometimes it could happen after 2 or 3 games. Sometimes, you know, it took you a set to figure out what was really working. It's easy to figure out what's working when it's working. In other words, if you're getting the first serve out wide and they're not making the returns. Tillstrom here wrong puts Stefan Edberg with a very good drop, half volley. I think Stefan got stuck and he couldn't move, so he tried to hit it between his legs. Of course, it's hard to put any topspin on the ball that way. Don't try this at your home.
There's one for the highlight show.
40 low.
Tillstrom continuing to swing that first serve out wide. That's the side we've talked about so often on court number 1. It seems to slant to the left as you look at your picture.
Game Tillstrom.
No call. Mikael Tillstrom holds. And so Tillstrom hangs in out here in the first set. Stefan Edberg will come over and serve for the first set with a break.
And as again, we see Stefan Edberg facing the court, and the unseated player sits where the committee put the chairs, which is facing him south and north.
We are batting 100% on that call.
I don't know why they do that either. They only started doing this maybe 5-6 years ago. They used to leave the chair. Well, first of all, they didn't used to have chairs here, as you remember.
I remember
My
well.
first year here in '73 was the first time they had chairs. The players used to sit
just
on
lean
the
up against the
of the umpire's chair.
That's right.
Or they just sit on the ground, or they didn't sit at all. They just sort of stood there, took a sip, and kept walking. But then they started moving the chairs up. It must be for TV. They must be where the TV cameras are, and that's where they get a better picture of the player. But for me, I really hated sitting sideways and having the crowd look at me sideways. I wanted to have that space between me and the photographers and the cameras. And there was the security guard stepping away there.
That's another added touch over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's a Monica Seles security measure.
Yeah.
Now they're doing it at all the tournaments.
And a big hand for Edberg as he comes over now to serve for the first set with a break, 5-4.
Yes. Whoops. That's good.
John Lloyd would call that a fault. He says if you throw it up wrong, it's a fault. Oh, that's a great shot.
Nice touch by Tillstrom.
Love 15.
I didn't know he had such good feel. On the backhand side, he's very versatile.
Second serve a little bit short, Martina. He might have gotten away with it there.
He was a little lucky. Tillstrom actually moved away from the ball and was already going into the middle of the court. Didn't stay over the ball enough. Missed it.
Linesperson behind Tillstrom there, trying to get a look at that line from the other side. She's moved to the inside of the chair. A little unusual. Wow, Tillstrom again.
15-30.
Yeah, Stefan at 15-30. He really needs to get his first serve in here. He knows it. Tillstrom knows it.
Just wide.
Good deep serve. Oh. Great second serve. Ooh. Right into the body and deep. I mean, that ball bounced right in front of the service line. That's brave. That's brave.
Down 15-30. Second serve, and Edberg comes in with perhaps his best second serve of this entire set. Edberg now 2 points away.
40-30.
The body serve's working really well. Just like I was saying earlier, it's hard to figure out what's working when you don't get the first serve in enough to get, to get an idea of what works. Yeah. You have to make the shot, make him play, and then you say, oh, okay, this is good, this is not, and keep doing what works.
No. Yes. Edberg going for another big second serve, Martina. Maybe that last big second one, he said, hey, I got to try the same thing all over again.
First double fault of the match. Couldn't have come at a worse time. At set point for Edberg. Got that toss a little low, which usually at this stage of the match would mean a little bit of nerves.
Advantage Edberg.
A little pace off there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he made the first serve.
Once again, Edberg, set point.
Go for the body again. It's been working.
No, it's wide.
First set Edberg.
And so Stefan Edberg holds out here on court number 1. Edberg with the first set, 6-4 against Tillstrom. 2 games all in the second. And it is now advantage for Mikael Tillstrom, youngster from Gothenburg, Sweden, starting to get much more comfortable out here on this number 1 court.
Game Tillstrom.
That will go long, and so Tillstrom holds in the 5th game of the second set.
3 games to 2.
Tillstrom now up 3-2. We are on serve. Very few people have left their seats out here on court number 1. We are live on court number 1, which will be dismantled. And John Lloyd, I think a kind of a sad commentary, because everybody that's ever come to Wimbledon and played on this number 1 court has kind of a special feeling about it.
Yeah, it's my favorite court in the whole of the Wimbledon grounds. I like the way that you really feel the fans on the one side of the court there who are standing up, have been waiting there for sometimes up to 2 or 3 days, queuing up, as they say here, for tickets, and you really feel like they're a part of the action. Center court is obviously a wonderful court, but I always felt like you get a little bit lost on that one, whereas number 1, I felt the atmosphere was always fabulous, and I think it's sad that it's going, but the tournament has to progress, and they need more space, and that's the bottom line.
John, I think it's interesting, too, the number 1 court used for British Davis Cup matches, they never play those over on center court. Kind of interesting.
No, yeah, they wouldn't let us use the sacred center court for anything other than the Wimbledon Championship, so we got to play our Davis Cup matches on the number 1 court, but we were pretty happy about that.
All right, Edberg to serve now. 6th game, second set. Edberg with the first set, 6-4. And there is the classic high backhand volley from Stefan Edberg.
15-11.
Maybe one of the best high backhand volleys ever in tennis, don't you think, John?
Yeah, you can pretty much know when that ball's coming to his backhand volley high, that's the end of that point.
30-11.
Mikael Tillstrom, who has put some beautiful returns together, as Martina mentioned earlier, and Edberg has picked him off with some sensational low volleys. 30-love.
40-love.
Stefan serving better today, John. Serving deep and with a little more penetration.
Well, you can see how Tillstrom is really standing very close inside that baseline to take the serve. He's trying to put pressure on Edberg's serve. Edberg's serve a lot heavier than this first round, and much more than last year.
Volley. Oh,
Game Edberg.
Beautiful anticipation from Edberg off that forehand volley. He saw it coming, made a couple moves.
3 games all, second set.
And you see Tillstrom tries a little dink, doesn't do enough with it, and Edberg reads the volley, gets his hands out in front.
Textbook tennis from Stefan Edberg. As Martina mentioned, turn on the VCR if you want to learn how to play and take a nice free lesson. We are live on court number 1. Tillstrom to serve in the 7th game of the second set. Stefan Edberg at the top of your picture with the first set, 6-4.
$15-love.
No, that's going to go wide. I don't think John Tillstrom really comfortable yet on a grass tennis court.
No, you could see there on that preparation as he went to hit the slice approach shot, he was in 2 minds whether to hit it and come in or stay back, and got caught. Preparation was very late.
30-15.
Just wide. Maybe the forehand through the years, the one slight weakness in Edberg's game, John?
Well, that has been his weakness, but he covers it up pretty well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would take the Edberg forehand any day.
Well, it's a little bit like saying the great Ken Rosel's forehand was a bit dodgy, but you wouldn't want to play to it too many times, that's for sure.
It's funny you mentioned Rosewall, John, another great backhand volleyer through the years. He and Edberg with the classic backhand volleys. Great effort from Edberg.
40-30.
Stefan says he's just a step slower than he was several years ago, but I'll tell you, he has moved extremely well in this match so far.
Game Tillstrom.
Forehand into the net, and so Tillstrom holds. Mikael Tillstrom from Gothenburg, Sweden, now leading 4-3 in the second set. Edberg with the first 6-4. Speaking of Ken Rosewall, John, we saw him at the very start of our show today in that famous final when he lost to Jaroslav Drobny, the self-exiled Czech, as he called himself. Jim Lampley talking about that match when we went on the air some 5.5 hours ago. What was back in 1954.
Yeah, that was a fabulous match, and Ken Rosewall would have to be one of the greatest players not to have won a Wimbledon title in his career.
Some great players have never won this tournament through the years. Certainly Rosewall won them. As we look at Edberg's first serve percentage, not very good at all in set 1, and tremendous improvement there in set 2. And yet they are on serve thus far in set number 2. Stefan Edberg, the number 12 seed, 2 times the champion here. Another big hand as he crosses over. Live action here on court number 1. 22 past 7. London time. Oh, and John, a big opportunity there for Tillstrom.
Well, he was a little bit unlucky, though. I like the way he took the pace off that first return and then followed it in, tried to hit the volley for a winner. He's got a lot of variety in his game, Tillstrom. Not afraid to try all the shots.
Not afraid to hit out on second serve returns, and here's an opportunity right here. Second serve, 15 love Edberg. There it is, the two-hander. He drills it.
15.
Well, we've talked about the Edberg second serve giving him problems the last couple of years, and look how far in Tillstrom hit that ball, got it on the rise before it got up too high, managed to get it cross court for a winner.
Suddenly now John Tillstrom getting the range on the return.
He dips his forehand beautifully. Edberg can't really do too much other than just pop the ball up, and then Tillstrom finishes the backhand down the line.
Chances now for Tillstrom, 15-30. Oh. That is the clincher. It's just that extra step, and Edberg, a lot of stick, a little extra oomph into that backhand volley.
And he changed up that second serve. You could see he went into the body. The previous serve, he kicked it out wide, and that one he changed the direction and fooled Tillstrom.
And Edberg called for a foot fault. And John, mostly when he foot faults, he drags that right foot and pulls it over the baseline. There it is.
40-30.
You can see Tillstrom made up his mind early there to run around that backhand. Got in perfect position. The serve was not quite deep enough. Look at that follow-through.
No.
Advantage to...
And again, Tillstrom now getting the range on the return, and suddenly here, Tillstrom with a chance to break. Edberg down 3-4, but a big opportunity for Tillstrom. Didn't miss by much. No. Graceful move there to the left by Edberg. That again, that classic backhand volley, John, as he covers the open court.
Well, he was lunging for that and still managed to keep the racket head up high and firm.
It's deuce. Again, the foot fault from Edberg, and a serve that looked like it was an ace.
Advantage Edberg.
And John, it looks to me like it is the right foot that he pulls slightly forward.
Well, this is not a new thing, Barry. I mean, Stefan Edberg over the years has been called for a lot of foot faults. I'm just surprised twice in one game. Once it happens once, it sort of normally sets off a little warning sign and you move back a fraction of an inch. But Edberg's got caught twice this game already.
No.
Deuce.
Tough game here for Edberg. Back to deuce one more time, and he is making Edberg work very hard on his own serve here, Tillstrom is. It's good. And Tillstrom almost into the front row of seats.
And this is one of the toughest shots in the game on grass, the half volley. And Edberg stays down beautifully. There we see it again, hands out in front, keeps his eye on the ball, keeps his head down.
Will go wide. And so Stefan Edberg gets out of trouble. Down break points, comes back to hold. We are at 4 games all. Second set. Edberg worth the first, 6-4. Stefan with those couple little stutter steps right there as he returns. Each player, John, it's interesting, has his own way of receiving serve, and Edberg with those few little stutter steps kind of gets himself in motion. I don't believe it. Look where Edberg ends up.
Talk about perfect anticipation. Edberg starting off here so early. Manages just to scoop the ball down the line, and you could see Tillstrom there, took his eye off the ball, had an open court.
15 all.
30-15.
Tillstrom. Clean ace right down the center.
It doesn't take too long between points.
He plays very fast.
Tillstrom
looking at the court like he got a bad bounce on that two-hander. So now a chance for Stefan Edberg. 30 all, 4 games all. Second set. Oh, he had him. Half an inch higher, John, and that ball goes right to the right. Tillstrom moving the wrong direction.
Now, big opportunity. Looked like he rushed that forehand just a little bit.
Miss hit.
Game, Tillstrom.
And so Tillstrom holds in the 9th game of the second set.
Tillstrom leads 5 games to 4, second set.
Edberg to serve now, trying to get even at 5 all in the second set. He has the first.
15.
Interesting to see all those Aussies moving along. Put some grass courts down, and the breeding comes out. The Australians love this surface. Stefan coming in with 2 solid first serves. With the way Tillstrom has been returning, I can understand why Edberg's taking just a little bit of a chance on that second serve. Tillstrom, a dangerous returner, John.
Well, he's got to go for extreme depth now, because anything short, and Tillstrom's been eating it up. Second serve has definitely looked vulnerable, that last service game in particular.
Edberg, a winner here in '88 and '90, and a recent finalist at the Queen's Club to Boris Becker. A lot of people saying that Stefan's coming into this year's tournament in extra good form. Oh, yes. Tillstrom just holding that two-hander.
Well, this point was set up by this beautiful first return, so low that Edberg could only volley the ball up. Tillstrom had plenty of time to hit the backhand cross court.
Oh, yes. Tillstrom looking like a grass quarter here, John.
Well, he's certainly got a lot of touch. Follows this ball in, delicate drop volley, and then follows through, anticipates, and then puts the ball away easily. He's a good all-round player. He's got every shot.
And variety on that backhand. He can use the two-hander. Took a little off that last one, just kind of eased the one-hander low and moved in behind it. Second serve now for Edberg. Oh, that low volley.
Advantage Tillstrom.
So now Tillstrom with a chance to even this match at a set apiece. 4-5, advantage Tillstrom. Net cord.
Game, second set, Tillstrom.
And there it is. Mikael Tillstrom, the 24-year-old from Gothenburg, Sweden, evens this match out on court number 1 at a set apiece. Tillstrom will serve now in the first game of the third set. Amazing how quickly things can turn around, John.
Well, that was that constant pressure from Tillstrom finally wore down Stefan Edberg.
Yes.
Here we see this approach shot from Edberg. Takes a little bit too much off that ball. Gives Tillstrom enough time to hit the topspin lob. I think Stefan somehow has got to slow Tillstrom down because he's on a roll right now.
On a roll and looking much more comfortable on this grass court than he was about 30 minutes ago. There is a perfect approach shot from Stefan Edberg. The slice backhand right into the forehand corner. No.
15-30.
John, do you think we'll see Edberg starting to press a bit more on the second serve returns and come in behind more?
I think he's going to have to, otherwise he's going to get run around too much from the baseline. I think he's just got to put pressure and pressure and pressure on this player and hope he starts to fold.
30.
Tillstrom with good variety on that serve. He'll open it up wide. He'll come on flat like that first serve he just hit. Now Tillstrom with a chance to hold here. First game, third set.
Deuce.
Edberg opens up with the forehand, just catches the sideline.
You can see Edberg winding up with his forehand. He's not content just to chip it and come in. He wants to go for the outright winner.
Open court.
Advantage Tillstrom.
Once again, Tillstrom with a chance to hold. But a tough first game here in the third set for both players. There's a little guarding there, John, tapping that court down. Probably got a bad bounce right where he tried to smooth it out there. Oh.
Advantage.
Tillstrom showed a little bit of inexperience shot selection to go for a drop shot. That position where he could have come in. Very risky.
Edberg.
Fabulous defensive play from both players. You see Edberg comes back, puts up a good lob, stands his ground. Tillstrom hits right back to him, and there's this big shot here that Tillstrom goes for a drop shot again, and Edberg just missed that approach shot.
Best point of the match right there. Both players all over the place. Offense, defense. No.
Advantage Tillstrom.
Tillstrom driving it right down the center. John jams Edberg on that volley.
And you know how hard he had to hit that ball to have made Edberg miss the backhand volley.
No, it goes long. And So Mikael Tillstrom out here on court number 1. Holds serve in the first game of the third set. The number 12 seed and two-time Wimbledon champion right here, Stefan Edberg, in a struggle. Playing a youngster, 24 years old, from Gothenburg, Sweden, who has never competed at Wimbledon until he won his first round. Edberg in quickly to cut that forehand volley.
15 low.
We saw Stefan slide about 20 feet, John, on that last game. This court now, late in the day, starting to get a little bit tricky and a little more slippery. Ooh, that almost a double fault. John, you've played this court so often. When the conditions start to change late in the day like this, there's really not a whole lot you can do, is there?
There's not much you can do about it, and I tell you, it's a lot tougher for a serve volleyer who relies so much on his footwork at net to make quick movements, and if you start sliding around, you lose your confidence. Not easy.
No, it's wide.
30-15.
Well, I guess in our day we would call for spikes, but here at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, never allowed. Tillstrom again continuing to go for big returns.
No, I think it's a good play when you're playing Edberg. When you get a chance on the second serve, you don't want Edberg to get a chance on that to volley those first. He's so good on the first volley. If you get a chance to crack a winner, go for it.
Game Edberg.
Classic Stefan Edberg, the one step and a graceful move inside that service line. He holds serve. We are dead even out here on court number 1. A set apiece, 1-all, third set. Tillstrom to serve, third game.
Low.
Tillstrom, who lost in the round of 16 at the French this year to Pete Sampras, not a bad loss. No.
30 low.
Just wide. This crowd squarely behind Edberg out here, playing in his final Wimbledon. First appeared here in 1983 at the Junior Championships, which he won. There's that little stutter step. Yes. And John Tillstrom on that lob, a lot of topspin, a lot of racket motion.
Well, he had to do this to get over Edberg's head. Look at the whip. He gets up so fast and then dips quickly, just drops inside the baseline.
Game Tillstrom.
And Tillstrom pulls it out wide and holds in the third game of the third set.
Tillstrom leads 2-1, third set, 1 set all.
Mikael Tillstrom staying right with Edberg out here. 2-1, third set. And they split the first 2 sets. Another look at court number 1. That huge high rig there that is used to pull the canvas up when it starts to rain. Like a tent effect out here. Stefan Edberg, 2 times a champion here in his final year on the big circuit. Look at the top 5 open era Grand Slam performances. Connors, of course, unbelievable there, 233 and 49. Lendl right behind him, and number 3, none other than Stefan Edberg. A couple other fairly good hackers too, John McEnroe and Becker. They've played reasonably well in these kind of championships. Amazing how the cream seems to come to the top when the Grand Slams occur. Although some of the cream in this year's bottle didn't quite make it.
You see Edberg here. It would be nice for him to have a reasonably easy service game. He's been struggling. Tillstrom's been putting him under so much pressure, and that tires you out over a long match.
Edberg to serve now. Fourth game, third set. Tillstrom continuing to go for big shots on the return. It's hit or miss. Again, a big chance on that second serve. I think Edberg now, John, getting a little nervous as this kid gets better and better on the return. He's trying to pump up that second serve. Oh, yes.
Fabulous imagination on this shot. Take it inside the service line. It's a delicate volley. Edberg didn't expect him to do this. He was expecting to retreat, hit a passing shot, and he took it early. Good shot selection.
Double break point now for Tillstrom. Oh, yes. Great anticipation there by Edberg. He saw it going to his right, took off before the ball left Tillstrom's racket, and knocks off the volley. Still break point for Tillstrom. And there it is. Mikael Tillstrom breaks serve in the fourth game of the third set. He now leads 3 games to 1. And a big opportunity, John, to go up 4-1 if he can hold. We are live on court number 1, 7:51 Wimbledon time. This match over an hour and a half old.
Let first serve.
Let first serve. Oh.
15 low.
This kid, John, looking more and more like a grass court player as this match progresses.
Well, he is, and so far he showed no nerves out here. Just going for every shot. Not even. It's almost like he's not even looking at the score. I wonder whether this will be the same thing if it gets closer towards the end of the match, whether he'll start to perhaps tighten up a little bit.
Oh, yes. And for the last 8 or 10 points, Tillstrom, brilliant.
Well, again, a good approach shot. Got it down pretty low. A lot of spin. But Tillstrom was able to get over there and hit that passing shot down the line.
Game Tillstrom, new ball speed.
And Mikael Tillstrom now on a roll out here on number 1. Serve and volley tennis.
One set all.
Very shortly, our official off time for this telecast. But given the possibility that this is Stefan Edberg, two-time champion, last appearance here at Wimbledon, we're going to stick around and take you to the completion of this match. Now back to Barry and John.
Time.
All right, Jim. That is, if it gets completed before it gets dark, because as I mentioned earlier, Jim, this court now starting to get a bit slippery. And John, you know how they are over here. Suddenly, if a player appeals that this court is maybe a bit dangerous, that very famous gentleman from the club will come out and start tapping this grass to see if indeed it is playable.
Well, that is a possibility, but I would say right now they've probably got at least another 45 minutes before they would even consider that.
Edberg now down 1-4, set apiece. We're in the third set, and we are live on court number 1. Oh, and Tillstrom now on a roll, John.
Well, Tillstrom really, for this set and the last half of the second set, has really been dominating Edberg. He's putting so much pressure on him. That may be the play right there. Edberg took a little bit off that first serve, but made sure he got it in and jammed him. Every time he misses his first serve, he's in trouble on his second serve against the Tillstrom return.
30-15.
Interesting little trait that Edberg does, John. When he starts getting fired up, he'll take those extra couple of running steps after the point is over. I've always watched him do that. You know, when he does that, he is competing. Right on the sideline.
Well, this was a brilliant backhand volley from Stefan Edberg. Had almost no room to aim there. Punched the volley cross court.
Left first serve. As you can see, no net court judges here this year. All electronically signaled up to the umpire. Stefan looks over, thought he might have just caught that sideline. It's about the most you'll see him argue. Edberg, who won the Sportsmanship Award on the ATP Tour for about 5 years in a row, they finally said, okay, we're just going to name the award after Stefan. It's now called the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award. Appropriately so. No. Yes. That ball, John, looked like he threw it about a foot lower than he normally does.
And you could see where it landed, halfway up the service net, pulled down, didn't reach up, and that's a sign of tiredness there from Edberg. He's trying to gee himself up here.
Crowd continuing to get behind Edberg. You heard a roar go up there as he jumped for that high overhead. So once again, Edberg with a chance to hold here. It is down a break. Oh, it's long. And now Stefan Edberg down 4-2 in the third. We'll try to break in the 7th game of the third set. John, what's your 7th game theory? Don't you think normally that game is a big swing game?
I think they're all important, Barry. I'm not a big fan of the big 7th game. I know a lot of people are.
15.
Well, I am, John. I read it in Tilden's book about 47 years ago, and I've been with it ever since. 15 all. Big points now for Edberg. You can bet if he gets a chance, he will take that second serve if it's short and get in behind it. That's his favorite play.
15-30.
And now, John, big opportunities as the youngster looks like he's rushing just a little bit. Second serve, 15-30. Big chance here for Stefan. He's in. Not up.
15-40.
Not up, and you can hear this crowd. They are strongly behind the London resident who has been living in London almost 6 or 7 years now. He's like a hometown favorite. 15-40 now, double break point. No, it's long. Edberg breaks in the 7th game of the 3rd set here on court number 1. We are back on serve.
3rd set, 1 set all.
Stefan Edberg down 4-1, but only 1 break. Comes roaring back to get right in this 3rd set. And now what's going through this youngster's mind, John? He's got to be thinking, how can I let that thing slip away?
Well, you wonder, tactically speaking, whether or not he thinks too much out on the court. There he was in a commanding lead, playing superbly, and then played an awful game. Went for 3 forehands that he had no need to, and then served a double fault. Now he's put himself right back in trouble. He's got to now try and collect his thoughts. Just go back to being aggressive on Edberg's serve, but play a little bit more sensibly on his serve.
He has collected a new shirt, which he just dons, nice and dry. Stefan Edberg back on serve here.
Time.
In the 3rd set. Live action from court number 1 on day number 4. Steps after he hits the serve, making sure he's in a good volleying position. Drop volley. It's wide.
40 low.
And John, even if Tillstrom makes that shot, it looked to me like he was all over. Was going to hit the net. Would have lost the point anyway. Second serve, 40 love.
Game Edberg.
And so Stefan Edberg holds serve.
4 games all, 3rd set.
From 4-1 down, we are dead even at 4 games all in the 3rd set. Edberg trying to stay loose. Tillstrom to serve now. 9th game, 3rd set.
Net 1st set. $15 low. $30 low.
Forehand just flows over the baseline. I've always felt that Edberg hit his forehand, John, on the run better than he does when he has a bit more time.
I agree. That's when those loose errors come in.
On the baseline, a better passing shot.
40 low.
No.
Game Tillstrom.
And Tillstrom gets away with a very casual little drop volley there to Stefan Edberg, and so Tillstrom now up 5-4.
One set all.
No one has left court number one. It's 4 minutes past 8 local time. This is the two-time Wimbledon champion Stefan Edberg right back in this third set. And I think Edberg, certainly, John, at this point in his career, in as good a physical condition as he ever has been. It's the mental part that he mentioned recently, the getting up, the practicing. And he wants to stay home more and be with his family. And so I think that is really the main reason why Stefan Edberg has decided to make 96 his final year.
Yeah, and I think he wants to go out on a high. He wants to play some really good tennis, which he's obviously capable of. But when you consider the difference between this year and last year he looked so disinterested on the court, played a sloppy Wimbledon, really, went out in the first round. And now he looks so much more solid, had a great French championships. And you can see now, you wonder why he couldn't play for another 2 more years. But as you say, Barry, he's just decided he doesn't want to travel anymore and doesn't want to go through the grind. But I think it's a pity.
Well, he's certainly a big loss next year when he won't be on the circuit, as we look at him come around again. The big hand for the retiring Stefan Edberg, but he's a long way from retiring at this year's Wimbledon. Serving now to get even at 5 games all.
15 left.
Again slipped.
30 love.
Stefan slightly slipped as he went to hit that forehand volley. No question that this court now getting just a bit damp.
You can see that first serve percentage from Edberg, 47%. Very low for him.
Love. Game effort.
And Stefan Edberg holds that love.
5 games all, third set.
We are at 5 games all, third set. They split the first 2 sets. Edberg with the first 6-4. Tillstrom right back to win the second.
Led second set.
Edberg working his way up the net. Beautiful shots.
And he finished with that backhand volley again. From a defensive position, managed to hit the ball so deep and so firm. Great volley.
Love 30.
And a better return, John. And so now Edberg with a chance here. Love 30. That's, John, exactly what you said. You don't want to get Edberg in kind of a situation where he hits a couple volleys, one of the toughest guys to pass.
Wow. 15-30.
I mean, all credit to Stefan Edberg, the way he's come back in this set, but Tillstrom has been so erratic. For a while there, everything he touched was gold, and now he can't seem to even find the court.
30 all.
Apart from that serve, of course.
Tillstrom, a very quick wind-up on that serve, kind of like Roscoe Tanner in the old days, goes up and gets it quickly. And a bit like Ivanisevic right now. That ball barely came off the court, John, about 6 inches. And Stefan tried to roll over it. He did, but unsuccessfully. That's great.
Mikael Tillstrom.
Fantastic get from Tillstrom.
Tillstrom leads 6
full
games
lunge.
to 5. Third set, 1 settle.
We're live on court 1 as Stefan Edberg, the number 12 seed, tries to stay ahead here. Edberg, who has been an Iron Man in Grand Slam events, John, through the years. Look at this.
It's a pretty good effort, 53. Well, he's a very fit man, Stefan Edberg. He's always kept himself in good condition.
As we mentioned, he showed up first way back in 1983 here at Wimbledon, and since then, magnificent record, has not missed any Grand Slams. And when you think those Grand Slams are all over the world, including Melbourne, Australia, it's quite a record. Another big hand for both players as they change over now. 1 game away from a possible third set tiebreak. No one has left court number 1. That, as you mentioned, John, standing room only at the very top of this vast stadium out here. Edberg to serve now. Down 5-6. Oh! Tillstrom opens with a bullet.
How do you get any rhythm against someone that plays like this? What a forehand. Hasn't made a return for the last 2 service games from Edberg, and then cracks a winner like that.
Exactly. Let and a fault. We'll see if Tillstrom does it again. Goes for the big return. Deep serve. Edberg in with a very deep second serve. That one actually jumped off the service line, John. It was going so fast.
Let.
Great.
A superb court coverage from Edberg. Oh, just gets that racket out in front, but keeps the racket head firm. Ends up as a drop volley. And you see that perfect balance, gets back into position.
Yes. Another very deep serve on that second serve from Edberg. Set it all up, and so now Stefan 1 point away from a tiebreak.
40-30.
There you can see he's showing himself he should have gone through that forehand volley, pulled the racket head down, dragged the ball in the net.
Miss hit. And it goes long. And Edberg has held. We are at 6 games all. We will have a tiebreak. First player to reach 7 points with a 2-point lead at least will win this third set. Lob. It's good.
Beautiful shot from Edberg. Just rolls the racket.
1-0 Edberg.
Just caught the baseline. The mini break for Edberg. 1-0. Yes.
Edberg.
Tillstrom slipped, but there's no way he would have gotten that backhand volley.
Edberg.
Actually, a bit of a miss hit on that two-hander. Just caught the sideline. A lucky break for Tillstrom. Edberg still up 2-1. Good.
Excellent approach shot from Edberg. Look how close this goes to the line.
Edberg.
That beautiful backhand stretch volley.
3-2 Edberg.
Tillstrom right back with a bomb down the center. But Edberg maintains the mini break. He'll serve at 3-2. One more point, they'll change sides. No.
4-2 Edberg.
So Edberg holds. Tillstrom elects to just wander around the far side from the umpire. A little bit unusual, John. Most players like to at least go the other side in case they could grab a towel.
Well, I think that would have been a good idea for him as he's down 4-2, but Tillstrom, he rushes between points. He doesn't mess around.
Very quick player. You saw Tony Pickard there in the friends and players section watching his old friend and player, Edberg. 4-2. No, called wide. Stefan trying to ease that ball in, just let it slide wide.
I think Stefan Edberg has been under pressure so many times. That was one of the easier volleys he missed.
Forward.
Oh, just catches the tape.
5-4 Tillstrom.
Stefan with the full swing on that forehand. Oh,
6-4.
net goes wide. So now Tillstrom with a big chance to go up 2-1 set point.
6-5 Tillstrom.
No.
Game second set Tillstrom.
And Mikael Tillstrom
7-6.
holds.
Tillstrom leads 2-1.
Tillstrom leads by 2-1. And now love 15 as Edberg serves in the third game of the fourth set. Stefan continuing to try and stay loose. $15-all.
$30-15.
Stefan just waiting for Tillstrom to make his move and then hits wisely behind him. 40-15.
Game Edberg.
Service ace right down the center.
Edberg leads 2-1.
So Edberg holds. He leads 2-1 in the fourth set. And you have to think Tillstrom obviously idolizing Edberg as he was coming up in Swedish tennis. The three big Swedish players, Borg, Edberg, and Wilander. A look at the overall analysis here, John. A very, very tight match.
Yeah, you can see that with the winners pretty much even. Tillstrom just a few up there. First serve percentage, that's a surprise for me because Stefan Edberg, not known as someone with a big serve, and at 45%, that's where he's been in trouble. He needs to get that up in the 60% range. Unforced errors, Tillstrom more. And you can see he goes for broke on almost every ball. And three service games each, they both lost.
As we were saying, Edberg's certainly one of the heroes in Sweden as Tillstrom coming up as a young player. And you have to wonder, John, what kind of emotions Tillstrom has here as he leads by 2-1 against perhaps one of his heroes as a youngster in Sweden.
Well, I'm sure it's mixed emotions. Obviously, if he could win this match, it would be probably the best win of his career in some. But obviously, probably wouldn't also wanting to end Stefan Edberg's reign at Wimbledon would be also tough.
Love 15.
Edberg taking this serve very early with that forehand cross court. Good preparation, leans into the court.
Oh, yes.
He's such a strange player, Tillstrom. He comes up with the most extraordinary shots, and then he'll make errors for no reason.
But, John, I get the feeling that Tillstrom is much more at home now on this grass court than he was when this match started. Hitting grass court shots. Like that little drop volley.
Well, he's not afraid to try every shot. I mean, he's really come up with some drop shots from strange places, drop volleys. He'll come in and volley the ball when Edberg doesn't expect him to.
Yes.
40-15.
So Tillstrom now 40-15, trying to get even at 2 games all. He leads by 2 sets to 1.
Game Tillstrom.
So Tillstrom holds. Mikael Tillstrom from Gothenburg, Sweden. 24-year-old, first time at Wimbledon. And he has the veteran, Stefan Edberg, in trouble here on court number 1. 2 sets to 1 up, 2-all, 4th set. Ooh, not much. Just missed with the 2-hander out wide. Just too solid. Edberg now trying to make sure he finishes the
Seems to have got his rhythm back on his serve in this set, Stefan Edberg. A little bit more juice.
Game Edberg.
And another roar goes up from this crowd on court number 1 as Stefan Edberg holds.
Edberg leads 3 games.
Edberg now 3-2, 4th set. Another look at that huge one-sided stand over here. Nobody's leaving. And, John, what about the theory, a guy like Tillstrom who comes out here not real comfortable on this surface? I think he's gone to maybe another level here. He's much more comfortable than he was on this surface when it started. Can that happen, in your opinion, on a grass court with a good player with a lot of talent like Tillstrom?
I think it can, and I think that players overestimate the difference between grass and the other courts. If you play on the good courts, the number 1 court in the center particularly, the bounce is good. And I see no reason why not, that if you're a talented player, you can play on all surfaces. And you could see, exactly as you said, the first set, he was a little bit shaky, wasn't sort of sure on his footwork and how hard he should hit the ball, when to go into the net. But now he's got into a rhythm, and he looks like he's been a grass court player all his life.
Exactly, John. He's starting to hit what I call grass court shots. He'll get the little volley, and instead of trying to punch it, he'll hit the drop volley, which we know is going to die on these courts. And the later it gets in the day, obviously, the shots are going to become another huge hand for their champion, Stefan Edberg, here on court number 1. They want him to get back into this match. Drop shot.
That was good play from Tillstrom. Good racket control to get that over Edberg from such a short position. The ball was so low.
Second serve now. Tillstrom, 15 love. Yes.
We've seen that shot a lot today. He leans back and hits that forehand, and Edberg didn't know where that was going, expecting a passing shot. Didn't even make a move for it.
40 love.
Again, the little drop shot, and John, suddenly we're seeing some high-quality play out here from both players, mixing it up. Tillstrom, beautiful touch. Again, Tillstrom with some nice soft hands, just eases that little short ball. 3 games all, 4th set. Tillstrom by 2 sets to 1. Edberg to serve, 7th game. No, he gets caught. Now Tillstrom has played 5 beautiful points in a row. Holds it love. Gets the ball right at Edberg's feet.
I think Edberg now should do anything in his power to slow this game down somehow. Take extra long between the points because Tillstrom is really hot. 6 points in a row. He's hit blistering winners.
Finally, Tillstrom makes an error. And you're so right, John. I think Stefan now slow things down. Maybe try and move the serve around a little bit. Tillstrom definitely in a groove on the return of serve, getting a lot of balls back at Edberg's feet. 15-30. Believe it. Way out in front on the two-hander. He anticipated perfectly, John, and drills the winner.
And that was a good deep second serve from Edberg too. Couldn't get much closer to the line.
Exactly. Double break point. 15-40. Miss hit. It's good. Unbelievable. Unbelievable effort. Oh.
And that was superb defensive play from Edberg.
Oh.
Tillstrom got no chance for this ball, but what a recovery from Edberg to recover with that nice high lob from that miss hit from Tillstrom.
He was in big trouble, John. You are so right. And this crowd absolutely trying to get Edberg back in this game. Still point, 30-40.
Hughes.
Smart serve right into the body. It's deuce. Double fault. Ed for it all. Tony Pickard, who we mentioned earlier, Stefan's long-term coach, who no longer coaches him, but lives in London. Second serve. Oh.
Tillstrom. And Mikael Tillstrom, another brilliant shot. He breaks, and so now 4-3.
4 games to 3.
Tillstrom. Unbelievable atmosphere over here on court. Mikael Tillstrom steps up.
5-3. 5-3.
4 set with a break now.
Let first serve. $15.
15 love, and John, you have to wonder what's going through Tillstrom's head now. He has a chance here. It would have to be called an upset. Number 12 seed Edberg in trouble.
30 love.
It's tough to really see what's going through his mind because he doesn't seem to show any emotion either when he hits winners or when he hits losers. The same face.
Yeah, you're right.
Let first serve.
Right now, like he did when they played the first game over 2 hours and 26 minutes ago. No.
First one right here. That was a delicate shot. Then he got himself set up for the shot and won.
Till 40-15 now, 1 point away from a 5-3 lead. Oh, that's great. One of the best low volleys, John, all day, Edberg. Beautiful shot up the line. Still game point for Tillstrom. Oh.
Oh, what a superb return. Took this so early. He's coming into the net behind it. Didn't even have to play a volley after a shot like that.
Just kept running, too, after he hit it. Second serve, Edberg desperately trying to break back here. Oh.
Advantage Tillstrom.
He rushed on that forehand approach.
No.
Yes.
And John, finally, the little drop volley played so well, got him in trouble.
Advantage Tillstrom.
That ball another quarter of an inch higher, and it drops over the net. Bad break for Edberg. Oh, that's great.
An extraordinary shot there from Edberg. Point before he tried to play the percentage chip and come in. That time he blasted the winner.
Yes. It's good.
For this volley, plenty of different varieties of shots to go for there, but he really remained cool. Just lost over Edberg's head.
Still game point.
Tillstrom leads 5 games to 3 sets.
Again, this crowd unbelievable atmosphere on court number 1. We're live, and Edberg showing these folks, win or lose, what he's all about here at Wimbledon all these years. 15 love.
15 love.
Let and a fault. Ooh, Edberg going for another big serve, John. He's taking some chances now.
He is. If he can just somehow hang in there this game, because I'm not so sure about Tillstrom serving for the match. He played a couple of loose balls in that last game and got away with it, but serving at 5-4. That would be a big test of character for him.
There are over 6,000 people out here, John, that want to see Tillstrom serve the next game.
And just about all 6,000 of them want Stefan Edberg to come back and break him too.
Edberg hanging in 40-15, a chance to hold here and force Tillstrom to serve for the match. No.
47.
Yes, Edberg holds 5-4 out here on court number 1. Back to you, Jim. What's happening?
And Steisch goes on to play Sandon Stale of Australia in the next round. Now let's go back to Barry McKay and John Lloyd as Mikael Tillstrom prepares to serve for the match against Stefan Edberg.
All right, Jim, we are live on court 1, and a big ovation for the 2-time Wimbledon champion, Edberg, as he crossed over now. This crowd would love to see him here. Oh, he pulls it long.
Well, he went for the big overspin backhand approach there instead of taking a little bit off it in the slice. Just a little bit over anxious.
That's good. Trying that backhand up the line. They don't want him to go. Tillstrom 2 points away. Yes. Stefan used to try and stay loose. 30-15. That's long. Oh, he should have had it.
40-15.
John, not that tough a forehand volley. I thought he was going to make that point.
Well, you wonder if it was perhaps the darkness or just took his eye off that ball. What a pity.
Yeah.
One of the easiest volleys he's missed the whole match.
So Stefan Edberg now down double match point. ovation.
Tillstrom wins 3 sets to 1. 6-4, 4-6. 10-6, 6-4.
Wow. Edberg. Everyone on his feet over here on court number 1. A standing ovation for one of the all-time great sportsmen in the game of tennis as Tillstrom leaves. But you will hear a roar go up when they get to Stefan Edberg. Here it is. Goodbye, Stefan. Tony Pickard looks on, and so into the third round, Tillstrom, he'll take on Jakob Lasik in that third round. But what an ovation over here on court 1 for the retiring champion, Stefan Edberg, Jim.
All right, thank you, Barry. So sadly for most of us, Sweden's future day more explosive player.
Yeah, it was such a pity because you had that feeling that if Edberg could have got through against Tillstrom, he had a good third-round draw, and it would have been great to have seen him gone up against Goran Ivanisevic in the 16s. It's a great pity, but what can you do? This Tillstrom played the match of his life, and Edberg's been a great champion. It was sad to see him go out so early, though.
One quick comment on Sampras. He played so well today. The challenge is going to be to stay at that level for 10 more days.
Well, he was scary today. I mean, Pete Sampras was brilliant against a very tough opponent, and I tell you, he sent a definite shock to all the rest of the players left in the draw.
All right, we're going to leave you with a tribute to Stefan Edberg's great career here at Wimbledon. He has been one of the greatest champions of the modern era, so we put him in the middle of our final silver plate, flanked by Sampras and Tim Henman of Great Britain, who got another win today as he looks to go through to the round of 16 and perhaps even beyond. But one more visit now with the unforgettable Stefan Edberg.
I have a lot of fond memories about Wimbledon, coming here first time, playing the junior final on court 1, on the center court at the same time.
There wasn't going to be shit, any nonsense. We were just going to play, and the better man was the better man today. And you knew they were playing stuff on.
I probably will love tennis in 10 years' time and in 15 years' time because it's been a big part of my life and it's given me a lot of pleasure.
On time, Edberg's been a